My
ma'am.
community, yeah. In my community, I live in Dayton, Ohio, the three lowest ranking school districts in all of Ohio. Now, this is the 2022-23 report card. I haven't gone back in and checked because that's when I was doing the work. I don't know that it's changed much, but out of over 600 school districts in my community, the three lowest were in my immediate community. And the commonality was, although there may be a lot of different underlying factors, the most predominant thing that stands out is that those schools are majority Black and brown children. And then, we know about the whole preschool to prison pipeline. And if a child doesn't learn to read by the third grade, they're more than likely not ever going to learn how to read. And that affects, of course, their quality of life and everything else that goes along with that. And so once I got out and started doing children's books and learning these statistics and finding out these things, because I'm an academic. I mean, I'm an engineer by degree. I got a master's degree. I made sure my sons, both of them have master's degrees. So it baffled me that babies in this immediate community were struggling with reading and not connecting to the story and not feeling what they're feeling or feeling what they're feeling, partially because they weren't seeing characters that look like them. So there's this big organization that does school book fairs. I'm not going to mention them in case, liability issues, but the truth is the truth. And I go in and I'm talking to the media specialist, what they formerly called librarian. And I was like, what is all that? What's all those books? What's those boxes over there? She said, oh, those are the books from the name we shall not be mentioned. And the kids don't want them because there's no characters in any of those books that look like them. And it was a predominantly Black school. And the kids were like, who is this person? What is this about? They couldn't relate to the stories. They couldn't relate to the characters. They couldn't relate to the stories. And so they had to ship a whole bunch of books back. There's no diversity in even organizations that give kids books or position themselves to sell books in the schools. There's not a lot of diversity. Part of that is because they are very selective in the publishing houses that they use for their books. But part of it is a lot of them only use traditional publishing houses. Like Dolly Parton Imagination Library is fantastic, but I hear from parents all the time, there's not a lot of diversity in the books. Dolly Parton gets her books from Scholastic, and Scholastic buys traditionally published books. Well, a lot of authors are not traditionally published anymore. And even if they are, there are still not a lot of authors of color who are traditionally published and doing children's books. It's just that there's a gap there. And what I found is there are a lot of amazing self-published titles. I've got books some of these books are by my authors. This was a bestseller. This one is by another author. She did a children's book and a picture book, bestseller. This author here, she writes books based on ADHD. She does do stuff with the Children's Medical Center, ADHD and autism.
What are we going to do with you?
Yeah, there's all kind of books that don't just focus on being Black. Like we are more than just Blackness. I mean, I think those books are great. Don't get me wrong; those are great books. But we are everyday people. We eat, sleep, drink. We have families, we have traditions, we celebrate holidays, we go to school, daddy's in the house. There's all kind of things that society has kind of labeled us as people, some things that may apply to some people, but not all people. And when when children read books and they can't connect to the message or they don't see themselves in the message, it's hard for them to internalize the message and then see that I can be the hero. This is a great book. This guy looks like me. I can do that.
The thing is, how often are they painted as the hero in the books that are read in the school? When I first started Homeschool Your Kids organization, when I created the app, because I did that first, my main thing was talking about identity and purpose being lost in students especially students that look like me that are going through the school system, because how do you combat hearing for 13 years straight that you are less than, that you are a slave, that you are a minority, like everything minimal, like anything you could think of is a negative connotation from the start with Black and brown kids.
Absolutely.
And you're supposed to overcome that once you graduate, and you're supposed to see yourself in other positions, but you never saw it while you were in school. You were never introduced to those books, those authors, it's detrimental. It's detrimental. And that is why the school to prison